Welcome home to where we live. This is the house that my grandparents built in the early 1950s. Back then they used to have greenhouses on this field, and they supplied more or less half of the city with vegetables and flowers. And we can still see the old building where they heated up the water to keep the greenhouses warm during the spring season. My mother used to say that this was a very beautiful yellow brick house, but now we've destroyed it by extending the house somewhat, and as you can see, we have built the porch and a new entrance that we will go into shortly. Given our tradition, or the fact that my grandparents were into gardening, we try in a little scale to keep up the tradition. We are growing, let's see now, here we got the potatoes, the most important vegetable according to my mother. We have onions, and of course then the strawberry plants. And due to the fact that we are more or less in May now having a little drought, very warm weather for Sweden and no rain at all, I think that we will get a fairly good season in a couple of weeks. Right, now we're in the garden and we have our little playground, especially the trampoline that the kids like, and our small soccer field. It's been quite a while since Samuel and I had our matches, but every once in a while it's used. And before we go into the house, I think I'd take a little tour around the garden. Rachel's little plot. I think it's lettuce and yep. On the back side here we have our hen house that I built a couple of years ago, when we have had hens and ducks. Unfortunately the fox comes and visits us every once in a while, so our two remaining ducks have now disappeared. That's a shame. We grow, could it be, it's not true, we have raspberry bushes, and we have fruit trees, and we are, Samuel has to help me out here. Hallon in English, what's that? And talking about Samuel, this is the small cottage that I built, was building for quite some time. When we visited last time I was halfway through it, and then I've completed it, and now Samuel has his own little place where he can live. And they had their youth ministry yesterday, so I'm not certain that he's up yet, but we'll take a little peek inside. Got his kitchen where he do all his fancy cooking, the living room, as well as his bathroom, and inside there is also his bed and bedroom. Well, I'm not so sure he's awake, so we continue our tour. We're now on the back side of the house, and this is where we started our building projects a couple of years ago with our American inspired porch. My wife wanted somewhere to sit, and it became a bit bigger than I first thought, but it's has become quite nice. We are actually renovating a bit part of our entrance here, so that's why we don't have a roof on this part. this is where we spend quite some time having all our meals. Someone that didn't put back their breakfast. And beside these blankets we have the youth part, where Miriam sometimes hides away from the rest of the bunch. This is definitely one of our favorite parts. We are now coming into our entrance, and we have this famous shoe shelf that fits all our shoes in the family. And Matilda spends quite some time making sure that everything is stored where it's supposed to be. In old Swedish houses, at least until the 1970s, you always had a basement. So down here in the basement we park our car, do our laundry, keep all the stuff we don't need. We can just, it's usually crowded with stuff. Matilda cleans it every once in a while, but it seems like the rest of the family do their best of keeping the place quite disorganized. So this is where we keep our shoes. Matilda, different shoes for different seasons, and I think that Matilda and some of the kids have actually threw away a couple of dozens of shoes just a couple of weeks ago. Let's see if we can take a little tour upstairs as well. The kitchen, where we do the cooking and baking and stuff, and we actually get, all of us usually take at least during the spring and winter and fall. This is where we have dinner together. We have Miriam's room. We have Rachel's room over here. This used to be one of the old living room, and you can see that the carpet is the original one. This was a room that you only visited once a year, perhaps, or twice during Dad's birthday or Christmas Eve, perhaps. But now it's Rachel's room, and out here you have the porch where Miriam could have her own time. Our living room, where we eat our Friday pizza together, and of course we have the television in the center. And then we go upstairs, where we have all our bedrooms, and actually, even though we're quite a lot of us, each kid have our own bedroom. Lydia is on. Oh, this is your room, Lydia. Yeah. It's built on the old balcony actually, and it's one of the nicest room in the house, and with a nice view of our garden and the surrounding areas. We have our parents' bedroom. Deborah likes Star Wars, and this is the desk where she do all her nice creations. I'm trying to see if I can see one of them now, but nope. She stored them away, tucked them away somewhere. This is the one of the room where the youngest kids get to play, and you can see that they seem to have had a nice time lately. Zacharias' bed. This is where he lives. This is the old living room on the actually that we have divided into 2 rooms. So this is the guest room today, actually, and every once in a while Rachel comes up and sleeps here when she doesn't want to sleep downstairs, and when she wants to do her makeup or her homework, she sits at this desk in this little room. So this was our house. This is where we live, and this ends our little tour.